Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everybody. I'm Preacher Mars, host of the S.O.S, the Shout Out Show. Hope that you are having a wonderful day. As you know, today is February 1st, the first day of Black History Month. And you know how we do it here on the S.O.S. We like to get down into the facts. We like to talk about some of the people that are the heroes, some of the people you may not have heard about. And we're going to get to some issues and some of our concerns, some of our anxieties, as well as some of our triumphs, some of our celebrations. So, to start off, brothers and sisters, it's interesting when we talk about Black History Month. The thing I want people to understand is Black History Month wasn't always Black History Month. It was Black History Week, as engineered back in the 1920s by Carter G. Woodson, famous African-American historian. The idea of him doing Black History Month in February, for those who say, why did they put it in that month? Because it celebrated two people who were very, very important to the history of African-American freedom and liberation, President Lincoln and Frederick Douglass. So it was supposed to be this week. And brothers and sisters, as it progressed, I want us to make sure that we understand the merit of what Black History Month was originally supposed to be. It was the scope, brothers and sisters, that for a week we were going to look at our achievements, look at our failures, look at our successes, in the idea that history would be moving forward, not necessarily moving back. What do I mean by that? Well, every day, brothers and sisters, we make Black history. Whether it's Lil Wayne, whether it's Jay-Z, whether it's a Black president, every day we make Black history. And a lot of that has to do with the fact of what Carter G. Woodson said, that we required serious study amongst ourselves. His organization, Association for the Study of African American Life in History, points out the fact that this was a serious thinking project. It wasn't done flipping or on the fly. So today, brothers and sisters, I'm going, if you allow me to kind of flip it around, to kind of go to the root of what Carter G. Woodson was talking about. Because we celebrate our heroes, we celebrate our athletes and that, but then there are people, brothers and sisters, who are benchmarks in the idea of African American liberation and freedom struggles that we don't necessarily talk about. I was happily surprised that NPR picked up one of those heroes, and I was really, really happy. And I said, I got to change this. I originally was going to do this show on Shirley Chisholm. We will do Sister Shirley. But today, brothers and sisters, we're going to peel back and we're going to do some things. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and start rolling. Satana, let's kick it off. Black History Month here on the Shout Out Show. All right, we're back. So listen, let me frame this a little bit better for you. I tried to early on say that the Association for the Study of African American Life and History was a process, and I want to say a one-of-a-kind kind of thought, that had a lot to do with having African Americans understand their presence in society. Not necessarily their contribution, but their presence. Having the idea of understanding their presence lent to this whole idea of agency. We're talking about the 1920s. We're not talking about 65. We're talking about 20, 30 some years before a young man named Martin Luther King would be on the scene. This is even before Vernon Johns, brothers and sisters, who I've referred to in the past. The thing that is interesting, brothers and sisters, is that there is an assault on Black history. In our textbooks, in our laws, in terms of progress that was made through honest struggle, and not just honest struggle, I'm talking about intellectual engagement with a society, brothers and sisters, that wanted nothing to do with it. We live in a culture, and Black history is a reminder that we live in a culture that we are despised. Black achievement is despised, Black excellence is despised. So therein we have these issues. So moving forward, we're going to talk about that. But before we get deep in our discussion, brothers and sisters, let's bring some people on. Black history every day here on the Shout Out Show is not Black history if we don't have our Shout Out Show family. What we got? We got Sister Mama Son, originator of Muslim comedy. Many comedians and audience have still enjoyed what you founded. Congrats on Black History Month. We appreciate you, Mama Son. Thank you so much. And I will continue to serve this community as best I can, inshallah. Next up, Sister E. What's going on, Sister E? Assalamu alaikum to you and your family. Thank you so much for tuning in on our first day of Black History. We hope that we make a little history too. Peace and blessings to you, your family, your husband, and your son. Thank you so much. Next up, we got, I believe, there we go. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Little brother, better known as Johnny L. Thomas, but to me, JT. Thank you so much for tuning in. I know you had to be on the show. We talk about Black history all the time. And, you know, brothers and sisters, I get stuff from my little brother all the time. We're going through it right now. We're talking about Black history. Here's something for the NFL. Brian Flores, ex-coach of the Miami Dolphins, is suing the NFL, the New York Giants, and the Miami Dolphins for racism. So keep an eye on that. I am. Next up, Sister Aika, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, coming all the way from Indonesia, Depok, if you will. Thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate your effort and your time. We know it's early over there, so as soon as the show is over, you have all of our permission to go back to sleep. Next up, Altaf Rashid. What's going on, my brother? Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for making your time and coming in at 6 o'clock, Mr. Straight Up, Straight Down, our Canadian ambassador. We can't do it without you, brother. We appreciate you and all your contributions. Thank you so much, and a happy Black History Month to you, my brother. Next up, my brother Eric Carter. How you doing? Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good to see you in the place, brother Eric. Man, I think you might like this show. I'm gonna stretch out. I'm gonna lean out a little bit on this show. Hope you guys don't mind. So let's go ahead and pop to it. We got Sister Sakina Mujahid all the way from Charlotte, North Carolina, doing her thing, blowing up big with her tribe and her family. We appreciate you. Big shout outs to you and your family and your parents. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Black History Month on the Shout Out Show. Next up, Bilal Salahuddin. What's up, brother? Beloved, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Shout out to you and Sister Sonia and all the Salahuddin family within the listening distance. We appreciate you, all. We're going to get to some business today talking about Black History Month. That's history, not history. History, not history. All right. Imam Ahmad Khan, what's going on, beloved? Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Man, thank you so much for gracing our show. I think it's the first time you come on, brother. We appreciate you. Much love to you, man. And I think we do for a call. But thank you so much for tuning in. Again, this is special. This is Black History Month, and we're gonna get to it here in a minute. Next up, what's going on, Samir? All the way from Kansas City. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, beloved. Thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you, man. I love to find out how you're making out on your writing with the Mike Tyson Tupac piece. Please let us know. Hit me on WhatsApp. Keep me updated. All right. Thank you so much. My candidate, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My main man, better known as Jelani Locks. Peace to you, your queen, and your babies. They're not babies anymore, but your tribe. Shout out to you, Ak. We appreciate you coming on the show. You know how we do. What's Black History Month without Mark Candidate? A light Black History Month. All right. And of course, we have our consultant producer, Sister Sultana Whitfield, working the back of this machine, making sure StreamYard works correctly. The videos, the tags, everything. Brothers and sisters, we're going to make a little Black history this month, inshallah. So let's get to this. Understanding our Black history. Now, I could have pulled a lot of people. I'm going to pull some people that you know, well-established people. We go to them every month. Every Black History Month. But then there are people who are foundations and pillars who need to be given their flowers. Not just given their flowers, but I'm talking about a full collection of flowers, recognizing their work and their sacrifice. So today, brothers and sisters, we're going to be talking about the people behind me, Harriet and Harry Moore. Harriet and Harry Moore. You may not have heard of them, you may have heard of them. The point of it is this was one of the first black martyrs in the whole civil rights movement. When I say black martyrs, I mean black martyrs. Meaning in the 1930s, when they were serving, they put themselves on the line in the aspect of education for African Americans. And this is in the Deep South, Mims, Florida and Central Florida. They put themselves on the line, brothers and sisters. Number one, they were educators. much the same as Carter G. Woodson. They were educators. So you see a little bit of a framework. Now, some shows back, I mentioned a case called the Groveland Floor, about four black men that were accused of raping a white woman and beating up her husband. A terrible case. It was a lie. It was a farce. They had to retry the case. Two of the guys being retried. The sheriff shot and killed one. The other one was injured. He didn't die, but the sheriff said he was trying to run away. The gentleman who fought for them in that legal case is none other than Harry Moore. What does that mean, brothers and sisters? It means at a time in the 1930s, 40s, 50s, these guys did not have the protection of law. Harry Moore and Harriet Moore did not have the protection of law. And as a result of his activism, brothers and sisters, guess what? They both lost their jobs as teachers, as educators. And he becomes the secretary, the first secretary of the NAACP down in Florida. His efforts are legendary. He goes on recruiting people to vote, voter registration. He goes from his time, and the NAACP goes from 46,000 registered to over 116,000 registered. What does that mean, brothers and sisters? It means that the man was fearless. It means that his wife was fearless. This was a time, brothers and sisters, when black people were supposed to have the vote. The Klan would march down on voting day just to scare everybody away from the polls. This is a time where the Klan would come out damn near every Sunday just to let you know we got your Negroes in check. Again, brothers and sisters, courage is the thing we need to be talking about more during Black History Month. Courage meaning, brothers and sisters, that you may not wake up tomorrow. Courage meaning that something can happen to your family members. Courage meaning that you are leaning on the premises of the idea that there's right and there's wrong. There's evil and there's good. There's a correct way and there's a wrong way. There's a legal way and an illegal way. There's morality and there's immorality. There's God and whatever else you wanted to give me. Now, let me not go on a tangent, brothers and sisters, but it's important to understand who these individuals are in a very, very meaningful way. So, Satana, let's go ahead and roll that tape, please.
Hello, Central Florida. Today I want to tell you the story about Harry T. and Harriet V. Moore, a local Brevard County couple who paid the ultimate price to help start the Civil Rights Movement. The Civil Rights Movement gained notoriety in the 1960s with Dr. Martin Luther King. But that movement actually began almost 2 decades earlier with an activist who lived in the small Brevard County community of Mims.
Harry T. and Harriet V. Moore were the first civil rights activists in the state of Florida. They were before Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, before we knew the civil rights movement today.
Harry T. Moore truly was a man before his time. And to put himself and his family in danger for the betterment of others truly speaks to the volume of the kind of character.
Harry T. Moore traveled all over the state registering African Americans to vote. He had a huge impact and paved the way for civil rights activities that are better known in the 1960s and beyond.
He understood that if we could get involved in the voting process, that lives would be changed.
Harry T. Moore was teaching blacks not to be afraid of the Jim Crow era. He knew he was going to ultimately pay a price, but he said freedom is never free. So on December 25th, 1951, it was Christmas. They celebrated like you and I, but the Klansmen was hiding in the grove, and they had to lay out to his house. They crawled under his house, 10:20 p.m., lit the dynamite, and they said that was the loudest bomb heard around the world.
Freedom never dies, I say. Freedom never dies.
Harry died that night, Harriet just 9 days later. Today, on that same land in Mims, stands an exact replica of their home, as well as a museum, all as a tribute to their sacrifice.
It happened in Florida, in the land of flowers. It was on a Christmas night.
This museum gives us an opportunity to become aware of the legacy and just how he has impacted lives today.
We're standing on somebody's shoulders. There was people before us that fought with their life to pave the way for us. Look at America today. The changes would never have been made had Harriet T. Moore not inspired and encouraged blacks back in those days to vote.
No bomb can kill the dreams of hope, for freedom never dies.
I'm Buddy Pittman, and that's Central Florida.
All right, we'll be right back after these messages, brothers and sisters. Understanding Black History here on the Shout Out Show. Hey, babies. Welcome to Radio WCUC, Convenient Urgent Care, home of the smart patient. This is DJ What It Do. You know what time it is. It's the top of the hour, and the request lines are open. You know what you want to hear. I know what you want to hear. Operators are waiting.
I just got to hear don't get the COVID.
Don't get the COVID. Put your mask back on. The Delta COVID, more contagious than before. Don't get the COVID. Go on and get the vaccine. You know that it can keep you safe, and your people living up in your space. Don't get the COVID. You need to wash your hands. The Delta COVID is more deadly than before. Don't get the COVID. Go on and get your vaccine. You know that it can keep you from dying. Don't leave your family all alone and crying. Don't get the COVID.
We invite you to join our fight against COVID and against misinformation. It's time to listen to the doctors and trust the science.
When I think of people dying that don't have to die, it makes me sad. Now's the time to be sober. Together we can make this thing over. Let's fight the COVID. Convenient urgent care, home of the smart patient.
All right, we're back. Thank you for that special message from Convenient Urgent Care. We're looking forward to some of our sponsors stepping up and helping us recognize Black History Month. Brothers and sisters, this only comes once a month on the calendar. However, in the words of Carter G. Woodson, and I'm paraphrasing if you will, he said the dynamic of Black history is not a narrative of people who have suffered. He said that's not it. It is the parable of people who see suffering not as a space where they should actually occupy. But he says the suffering is something that if you get away, it bears witness to a certain type of intelligence, a certain type of emotional intelligence and spiritual awareness that we're going to make it if you step away. We're going to make it if you understand that you don't control us. We're going to make it, brothers and sisters, because this is what we do. This is the nature and the souls of people going all the way back to Africa. And you begin to appreciate it more and more and more. Here's my challenge for Black History Month. I'm going to ask us to reduce, if you will, our time on social media. Step away from Google. Step away from the television. Go to a library. Engage the old system of looking up books and find books and read about people like Harriet T. Moore and Harriet T. Moore, brothers and sisters. The video didn't say that. They were both killed doing freedom work. I wanted to make that clear. Both killed doing freedom work. Now, they don't talk about that enough, but I'm going to emphasize what that means, brothers and sisters. What it means is this, that even now, what they died for, we're still fighting for. There's a very evil parallel that we're overlooking, that these people, they sacrificed their lives for the fact that they couldn't really vote. And here we are, minus a lot of the barriers of Jim Crow. We still have legal segregation in terms of policy making, things like that. But we're missing the spirit. We're missing the courage in some regards to say, even your laws can't keep us from growing, from evolving, from being successful. And I would say, or I would offer in a very kind way, that the look and the help and the assistance that you're looking for is not going to come from the people who don't like you. Clearly, Black History Month is a reminder to some folks that while we would despise you, we can't get rid of you. And we know, we wake up, that's the history of African American excellence, is that someone has always despised it. Is that someone's always had a problem with it. Not that you could outbeat me, you could outrun me, you could outcompete me. You were never good. Basically, the barriers that you set up, at some point in time, they don't matter. In fact, those same barriers are the things that stop you from being you. We are not a religion. We are not a group of people. We are not a history of Black history of people who celebrate the existence of oppressors. We don't do that. We are the liberation that they wish they had. Think about that. We are the liberation of which they wish they had. People who come here from all other countries look at us. They look at the Black and African American experience and they say, how are you still here? Why are you still here? Well, that's the magic of Black history, brothers and sisters, because it has something deep in the soul, deep in the heart, the cow. There's something there that is nowhere else, anywhere in the world. Even in Africa, brothers and sisters, there's something about African American history that even they think about. That a certain, I want to say, esteem, I want to say a certain verve, if you will, esprit de corps, still is here despite all the problems that we deal with. Now, I want to also make sure that you understand that this Black History Month, they always give a theme. The Association for the Study of African American Life and History always gives a theme. So please listen to the theme and focus on that. This is why I ask everybody to pull away from social media. It's on Black mental health and wellness. A focus on Black mental health and wellness. Now they're going to trot out, and I'm going to bring some people who have been tremendous in the medical field, tremendous in the mental health field. But for us, brothers and sisters, listen to what they're talking about. That this is the focus. Just as important as voting, this is a focus for us. Some people are looking out for us, brothers and sisters. It may be Brother Moore back in the day, or Vernon Johns, or Fannie Lou Hamer. But somehow, someway, they knew something that we would be here today talking about them, talking about their achievements. So let's make sure that we don't sell them short. Okay, so let's go ahead and get to the wrap up. I want to give a shout out to our sponsors. First off, I want to give a shout out to www.BeFinanciallyIndependent.com. Again, that's www.BeFinanciallyIndependent.com. You can call 202-508-3780. Again, that's 202-508-3780. I'm sorry, brother, sister, I'm tired a little bit. Also, I want to give a shout out to Bayan Islamic Graduate School. Go to Bayan Online. Again, that's Bayan Online. Check them out. Show them a little love. You know, they're open enrollment right now for next year, the summer. Make sure you check them out. I'm going to be giving out a little bit more information. They do have programs for scholarships, and they are working with people to make sure that you get your financial aid correct. This is probably the month you want to do it. Why? Because it's about knowledge. Acquiring knowledge. Remember, Black History Month is supposed to be a serious convocation about our knowledge base, how we develop it, not how people give it to us. Okay, and we also want to give a shout out to Us Hub TV, Us Hub family. I had a good talk with them earlier today. Looking forward to doing some commercials. Sister Tana, you are hired for those commercials. Want to give a shout out to Us Hub TV. Make sure you go to ushub.tv. Again, that's ushub.tv, ushub.tv, the newest streaming service for Muslim excellence and Muslim content. You want to make sure that you check that out. And last but not least, I want to give a shout out to Convenient Urgent Care. You go to www.convenienturgent.com. Again, that's www.convenienturgent.com. Thank you guys for supporting our platform. We appreciate you. Now, brothers and sisters, we're going to go out a little bit different today. This is Sweet Honey in the Rock, singing about our heroes, brothers, our heroes and our sheroes, the Moore family, Harriet Moore and Harriet Moore. Tomorrow, I hope to see you, and we'll be talking about Black history and hopefully making a little bit. I'm Preacher Moss. This is the S.O.S. Roll it! Sound like them.
It seems I hear Harry Moore from the earth, his voice still cries. No bomb can kill the dreams I hold. Freedom never dies. Freedom never dies, I say. Freedom never dies. No bomb can kill the dreams I hold. Freedom never dies. It happened in Florida, the land of flowers. It was on a Christmas night. Men came stealing through the orange grove, men of hate carrying dynamite. It was to a little cottage, the family the name of Moore. At the window hung sprigs of holly, a fine wreath at the door. It was on a Christmas evening and the family prayers were said. Mother, father, daughter, and grandmother went to bed. The father's name was Harry Moore of the NAACP. He fought for the right for us to live. Black folk must be free. It seems I hear Harry Moore from the earth, his voice still cries. No bomb can kill the dreams I hold, for freedom never dies. Freedom never dies, I say. Freedom never dies. No bomb can kill the dreams I hold, for freedom never dies. It could not be. In Jesus' name, beneath the bedroom floor, on Christmas night, the killers hit the bomb for Harry Moore. It could not be. In Jesus' name, the killers took his life and blew his home to pieces and killed his faithful wife. It could not be. For the sake of love, they did this awful thing. For when the bomb exploded and the Moors died, no hearts were heard to sing. And certainly no angels cried, peace on earth, goodwill to men. But around the world an echo hurled a question, when? When will people in Jesus' name, and when will they by prayer know that each one has the right to stand up everywhere? When will people, for the sake of peace, the sake of democracy, know that no bomb you can make can stop us from being free? It seems I hear Harry Moore from the earth, his voice still cries. No bomb can kill the dreams I hold, for freedom never dies. Freedom never dies, I say. Freedom never dies. No bomb can kill the dreams I hold, for freedom never dies. So if you see our Harry Moore walking on a Christmas night, don't you fear and run and hide. He has no dynamite. For in his heart is only love for all the human race. All he wants is for each of us to have our rightful place. And this he says, our Harry Moore, as from the grave he cries. No bomb can kill the dreams I hold, for freedom never dies. Freedom never dies, I say. Freedom never dies. No bomb